Um, Hello, everyone. Um, Since some people that I know and some met on online, nice to see you again. Um, Hope you are all doing well. I was given this topic, mindfulness in everyday life of monastics. Just like Hildy said, when I received this topic, I think people are just curious what monastics does. What do they do in their everyday life? They don't have a job. They don't have a 9 to 5 job. They don't have a family. What could they do? Sleep and eat, meditate? Curious. You want to find out first and verify how our life is, how different it is from your expectation. And I don't know, perhaps judge our performance based on that afterwards. But in any aspect, I think nowadays in our world, uh, global, whatever field or whatever trade is, or even spiritual practice or meditation practice, I don't see that the difference between monastic and laity are really separate. I don't think it that way. And actually, we're just in this life, playing different role due to our own causes and conditions. Our goal is the same, the practice, right? And as a human, we share the same nature, same need, suffering the same. There's no difference there. So I think this is a great opportunity to really tell you how a monk or nun lives their life. And then in the end, you can tell me how different we are in terms of living our life. So in this talk, I would like to share with you three parts. At first is secular mindfulness practice and Buddhist meditation practice. Are they the same? Are they different? If they are different, how different they are? What are their differences? And then the second part, I'm going to truly present you the everyday life of a nun, a monk. In the third part, I'd like to go over the basic of meditation practice in everyday life. And that is most important and practical and useful for us. And also share with you some advices. Okay. So the mindfulness of practice or movements is a secular movement. It is so popular nowadays. It is even a global movement. Even nowadays, mindfulness is so popular in China. Like Buddhism originated from China and spread to other parts of the Asian countries and then to the North America and then Europe. And mindfulness is the offspring of that, originated from the United States. And then again, now transmitted to China. So we're interconnected. And mindfulness is actually used or to help people to cope with stress, anxiety, and pain and illness. For people to have better concentration at work or study, better performance, leading to better performance. To have better control and better management of the life. And some people make use of that to deal with sleeping problems, poor quality of sleep, or insomnia. And that does help. Perhaps many of you know how this mindfulness started in the first place. Dr. John Kabat-Zinn in the United States in the 1970s, he created this 8-week program, the mindfulness program, at the University of Massachusetts Medical School, beginning as an experiment to try out on the patient in the hospital, and and help them as a tool, as a way to relieve their anxiety and stress, and cope with the fear, the worry of illness and physical pain. And also help them to perhaps recover sooner, and endure less suffering. And then as it was given as a experiment for a number of years. And Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, he was a student of Zen Buddhism. His teachers started with Philip Kapleau, very well-known pioneer Zen teacher in the States, and Thich Nhat Hanh. He's also a founding member of the Cambridge Zen Center. He practiced yoga in addition to meditation practice, and studied with various Buddhist teachers. And then he created this 8-week program as an experiment and to try out for his patients. It is proven medically, scientifically, very, very helpful. And over the years, now almost like 40, 50 years, it is so popular because it's effective, it is practical. It became so widespread to an extent that it is commercialized now as a commodity, a trade, a profession. Nowadays, you can register for a 12-week certification training for a meditation mindfulness coach, 12-week. And then you are certified as a mindfulness coach, or even 60-hour online certified meditation teacher. The course, you can get it with a discount price of 249 Canadian dollars. Online certification. And that is equivalent to 168 euros. You become a coach, certified coach and teacher. You can teach that. And that become your livelihood. your jobs that you can make a living. You know, it is widely used, commercialized to such an event that beer meditation, chocolate meditation. Have you heard about it? Did you try it? No, not yet. Well, well, I'm telling you. A couple of years ago, a member of us and went to the Vancouver downtown. He said, and then he told me, "Hey, Venerable, do you know chocolate meditation on chocolate?" You know, I was curious about it, so I went there. 45 minutes session. Guess how much they charge? $75. What do they do? You go there, sit for a while, guided, and then not for too long, you stand up, they give you a piece of chocolate, you taste it. Oh, okay. Now you get much more of the taste of chocolate, and go there and sit a little while, give you another piece of chocolate. Wow, 45 minutes. And then your $75 gone. The bear meditation is quite similar. You go in there, they charge you a whole lot of money, probably half of the tuition you pay for that certified coach training course. Try out different beer. It becomes a commodity. You know, in the Western culture, there's a perspective, Western perspective, to view everything as a marketplace. You know, more production that can benefit a lot of people, a lot more people. The producer, the sellers, the buyers, the users, and any others business that may arise related to all these things. And that includes spirituality, include the spiritual practice. So this MBSR is abbreviated from a mindfulness-based stress reduction. It's the product from Buddhist meditation practice, but it is not the whole. And Buddhist meditation practice has been taken apart by them, and they only took the skills, the technique. Only the skills and techniques is borrowed by them, is adopted by them, partially, not whole, not in a whole, not completely. Mindfulness, I'm not saying mindfulness is bad. No, mindfulness is good. It's quite good. It is as good as it is effective and practical to help people reduce their anxiety and stress, to become more relaxed, to better cope with the things going on in their lives, facing challenges, facing difficult moments, or the moments they become emotional. It is effective. It is helpful. Definitely, it helps people to have better health. So it has its own effect. But it is certainly a loss, a miss. They only take part of the Buddhist meditation practice. Partial. They're only getting partial benefits, not the complete whole benefits. That's why I said it's a miss. It's a loss. So this is the first thing I like to indicate that, okay, how it is related to Buddhism, but only partially, not whole, entirely. And what they miss is the most important, most precious, most essential part of Buddhism. So that's really a pity, in a sense, from a Buddhist practitioners. They miss the jewel. They take something precious too. You know, perhaps 1 carat diamonds, small. There are plenty more, bigger, more precious jewels there that they didn't bring along with them. And why is that? Even though John Kabat-Zinn, he's a Zen practitioner, and he has been training and practicing with so many Buddhist teachers. But he's also science. He's also a medical doctor. He's in the science and medicine. So somehow he preferred not to label the practice with Buddhism, to set apart from this religious element, completely off. He preferred to make use of the meditation in combination with science. Okay, so that's how he created this 8-week mindfulness program. Now I'd like to present you the Buddhist meditation practice. In Buddhism, meditation is a way to cultivate the mind. Mind experience stress, emotions, fear, anxiety, pleasant joy, happiness, all kinds of emotion. Yes. That's how the condition of the mind. We want to cultivate the mind. So all these things, all these emotions, vexations, anxiety, stress, and fear will no longer be a problem, be an issue, or perhaps be an obstruction to our way to enlightenment, to our way to the attainment of wisdom and compassion. That is our goal. A completely opened mind, open heart for all people, open mind for the ultimate wisdom, seeing the truth, the reality of our world. Not just stop there, yes, dealing with anxiety, stress, fear, emotions. We need to move on. Yes, we need to deal with all these issues, but with higher goal, the ultimate goal, the real jewels. Not the gem, not the little diamond here and there. There, the real jewel. Okay. And how do we approach meditation practice? It is a way, it is a skill, it is a method, It is a technique for us to start, have something to work on, work with, to start with. We use the meditation method to know the condition of our body and mind, and work with that condition to know how to take care of our body and how to take care of mind. And that's where we start to embark on the journey of self-discovery, knowing oneself. Do we always know how we feel, how our body feels, how we feel psychologically, emotionally? Sometimes, right? Not all the time. So that's the method that we can use to start from knowing the condition of our body and mind. And that's the exact beginning of knowing ourselves. And then when we practice meditation, our meditation practice is guided by the right view, right thought, right understanding of the Buddha Dharma, the teaching of the Buddha, the teaching of the wisdom is guided by that. How do we learn that? How do we gain that right understanding, right view? Through learning the teaching of the Buddha, learning the teaching of wisdom. And then we're able to know, to tell what is right from wrong, what is good from evil, what is wholesome from unwholesome. And be able to lead our life in accord with the teaching, the right view. In our life, we have many chances to really challenge ourselves, whether I truly understand the teaching or not, whether do I have the right view, do I understand the teaching correctly? And to know what is good from wrong, what is, wholesome from unwholesome, and become more conscious of our what we do, what we say, or even what we think. How would my behaviors, my action, my speech, my thoughts affect others and myself later on? To be more conscious of, what consequences will my actions bring about? How have I caused some harm to others and myself without knowing that when I was actually doing it? And to be able to practice in this. So we practice meditation along with the cultivation, practice morality and wisdom. Morality is show us the guidelines. What is wrong, what is right, not causing, not, saying evil words, harsh words, or lie, or steal to cause harm to others. Eventually, we also become the victim of our own behaviors. Not to commit foolish things. Don't know what we are doing, ignorant. So meditation practice in Buddhism has to be practiced together with the cultivation of morality and wisdom to make it complete, to make it whole. And what's the purpose? What's the purpose we practice then? What's the purpose we practice meditation or Buddhism? To become free from vexations caused by greed, anger, and ignorance, delusions, deluded minds. To become freed of all the sufferings caused by such strong and tenacious attachment to the self. That's the purpose we practice meditation. That's the purpose we practice Buddhism. Not just about dealing with alleviate anxiety and stress. Yes, that's important. But there's more beyond that. When we practice, we want the ultimate. We want the utmost. We want to reach the real goal, to become enlightened. So we will never be troubled, be entangled, be trapped in the suffering. Help ourselves to become enlightened and also help others to become enlightened. That's the goal. So these two very important aspects make Buddhism completely or differentiate the Buddhist meditation practice from the secular mindfulness movement. Okay, I hope I have made this clear to you. Okay, first, meditation practice is not a commodity, right? It's not you just practice the skill and technique. It has to be practiced along with the cultivation of morality and wisdom. Second, our goal is different. Our goal is to become enlightened, also help others to become enlightened. So we will all be free from sufferings and vexations. And that's our goal. When your goal is different, maybe at the very beginning when you just start up, you can't tell the difference. Yeah, they're doing the same. They're sitting there, not moving in silence for 7 days. Well, mindfulness won't do 7 days, probably 2 hours. But that's the starting point. But as you move on, your goal is so different. You end up with different place. We want to arrive at the right place, right? So this is, as a Buddhist practitioners, we have to be clear on this, clear about this. Okay, this is very important. I'll give you an example, a story that I hope to make it clear to you. This is a story, a woman in her 40s, a professional, have a very good jobs already, is at the middle level management in a big corporation. So she started to practice mindfulness a few months ago, and she feel good. after, ever since she practiced mindfulness, her life seems to be more calm, more controllable, and her emotions seems to not be so much dramatically changing all the time up and down. So she seems to be quite satisfied. What the mindfulness had helped her at work, at life. So one day she came back from work as usual, very hectic work, a lot of meetings, dealing with a lot of things. And when she came home, she had kids that she need to attend to and cook the dinner, prepare dinner, and check whether they have finished their homework, the children. And then finally, all these things has been taken care of, that she doesn't need to attend to them anymore. Yeah, it's already after 9 or 9:30. Wow. Then she sat down on the sofa in a very relaxing posture and reviewing her day. Office work went quite well managed time, interactions with people seems to be okay, not getting emotional, going back home, everything just organized as planned, control, very good. Wow, this is really a good day sitting there. Wow. Well, then she thought about, yes, I should reward myself for such a wonderful day, such wonderful performance with ice cream, Haagen-Dazs ice cream, which is the most popular brand in the North America. I don't know what's the most popular ice cream brand in Switzerland or in Germany or in Europe. Is that what it calls Movenpick? Well, anyway, similar. You get that sense. So she sat down. Oh, got her favorite flavor, rum raisin ice cream. Very joyful. She's conscious of her movement, the taste of the ice cream melted in her mouth. Oh, delicious. Eating that. And then she finished in no time, finished the whole pint of ice cream. Before she continued eating it, she just peeked on her a little bit fatty belly. It's okay, Well, it's a day's hard work, and I'm entitled, deserve to that. And the same story could happen to a man, if a long, tired, very tiresome day and sit down on the couch and watch the football game. Oh, yeah. Well, I should have a Heineken beer. That's again very popular in the North American. Says I think it's manufactured by a Dutch company. Heineken beer, bottle everyone. Wow, it's completely satisfied. The belly, a little bit fatty. That's how they feel. Yeah, everything goes through. When I drink the cold beer, I completely aware, conscious of, the cold temperature of the beer, the chili, satisfying, going down through my throat, and even to my stomach. It seems a little bit funny, but this is a good story. This is a good story for you to know as a comparison to Buddhist meditation practice. I hope now this help you to be more clear about the differences. Okay, now Now I like to talk about the second part. Perhaps most of you are most curious of the everyday life of a nun. uh, our life is not much different from yours. We cook, we wash dishes, we clean toilets, we mop the floor. We clean out and then we carry out the garbage, and we sweep foliage as we remove the weeds in the garden, in the orchard. Our garden and orchards are larger than yours. That meaning we have plenty more weeds to remove. Especially in this pandemic, the center has been closed for over a year and 5 months, 4 months now. So, we have much bigger house than yours. So you can imagine there's more cleaning jobs to do. So we cook our meals, 3 meals, and then, when it gets to the later days in this pandemic, everybody is just eating 2 meals, right? Combining 2 meals into one. So we don't eat much dinner. If sometimes we're hungry, we just have some kind of a steam bomb, Chinese bomb, and steam it and eat it. They're very simple. And we cook, we cleaned, and there's a lot of work, just like every one of you, your household. And perhaps you have a daytime job or a nighttime job, a paid job or an office job for certain time of the day, that you talk and interact and work with people. We also talk, we also interact, we also work with our volunteers to maintain the centers. We work with our suppliers, mechanics, repair person to come to fix our buildings, our equipment, our boilers, our AC. Give you just an example. Last week we had a heat wave. So hot in Vancouver, we got a 43 degree in Celsius. Majority of the household in Vancouver doesn't have an AC, but the center is equipped with air conditioning because it's a public place. All of a sudden you have 100, 150 people. You need to keep the air ventilation going on well. So in our office, which is the very, very hottest room in the summer in the center, and the coldest, that's chilliest room in the center, with 2 sides completely glass, so what kind of a condition we live in. So only in that room we have an AC and heater unit. As a one unit have 2 functions. So on that day, we try to not to use that until the 3rd day. It was the hottest date. It was the hottest date. The fruits, the blueberries that we took on the table to put it on the table during the morning, in the afternoon, it's already very, very mushy. Not very tasty anymore, just in that a few hours. So we actually turn on the AC, okay, and the AC running for an hour, and unexpectedly it spilled out water. At the beginning, just water drops, and then later on, water flows. So we have to hurry to get the basket, to hold the waters and mop the floors. And then we need to call the contact, the AC manufacturers, the dealers. We cannot find anybody to come in to fix that. So this is our everyday life, just like your life. So we have to interact with many people, like you. You probably perhaps only need to deal with your boss or colleague, or perhaps just dealing with customers, or perhaps just dealing with suppliers, or you know, the only difference is that we have to deal with many different kind of peoples. It's not like your job. You don't need to deal with whoever come into your company, right? And we do. So we have to deal with many different people. The only difference is that we don't get lawsuit. Instead, and they will tell others, you know, their practice is not really good, you know. Their knowledge of Buddhism is not profound. You know, don't go to them. This is the only difference, okay? And for administration work, we do have a lot. We do have a lot of administration responsibility. To give you an example, one of our nun, who's also the youngest in the nunnery, in the center, her responsibilities include kitchen, meaning providing 3 meals, not entirely a cook by herself. There are other nuns here, but she's responsible for that. Organizing, running the kitchen, get groceries, suppliers, and that kind of stuff. She's also responsible for services and dormitories, cleaning, organizing, get the supplies. And other than that, there is mentioned designated responsibility. She also teaches classes of beginner's meditation, Buddhism, classes on Buddhism. She's also mentoring 2 study group. And so are others. We share different kind of a responsibility. That's really multi-aspect. And one thing perhaps is different from yours, the way we use our time. We often are not able to separate our time or allocate our time. Say, this is office hours, office time, this is family time, this is my personal time. This is how you live your life, right? In separate parts. We don't often have this liberty, freedom to do that. Just recently, one of our members have some issue, call me at 9:15 in the evening. Call me, and I was still in the office. So I talked to her until 11. I almost become voiceless. I'm tired. I cannot say, hey, here's the nighttime. Now, this is my personal time. I can't. So living in this kind of a lifestyle, or in a situation, I learned to make use of my time instead of like you have a liberty to segregate your time, work, life, and personal. I learned to make use of my time at the interval of 1 hour at the beginning, and then an interval of 30 minutes, and then an interval of 15 minutes. I learned to utilize my time in that every interval, every segment of 15 minutes. I make use of that. It is a very good training. It's a very good training for me to train myself to let go of things quickly, to let go of the things while I was dealing with the conversation I still had, or sometimes an emotions. I have trained myself to let go of that as quickly as I can, and then be ready for what is happening right now. Be there, the whole person. I need to train myself to be able to adjust quickly, adapt to the new situations, new requirements, to be able to aware what is happening right now, what is present, and also be present with my whole being. And that is my body with 6 sense faculties, and mind and heart. Easy to say, but not easy at all to do. Sometimes very challenging and frustrating. So I'm still practicing. It's definitely a very worthwhile practice. So I'm actually very, very grateful to be able to have this experience, to be in such an environment, in such a situations. Without these conditions, I probably would not propel myself to engage in the practice in that kind of a way. The condition, the environment put me in that kind of situation. And I refuse to lead my life without practice. So I have to make use of the environment in the condition that I can still continue to practice and practice well. And that's my goal. That's how I adapt to the condition, to the situation, to the challenges. Continue to do it. And, I'm quite happy doing that. And actually practicing this way really helped me to gain the taste of meditation, gain the taste of Chan, gaining the taste of freedom. So it's very, very pleasant a journey for me. Okay. I don't know, you still are curious or about monastic life, or even, well, or having this thought, maybe you want to come and live with us for a month or so. I welcome you. Okay. And now I like to move on to the third part, the basics of our everyday practice. Well, meditation is not just about sitting meditation. Meditation can be practiced in motion, almost everywhere, in every activities that you are doing. In addition to that, when we practice meditation, we also need to apply the teachings of Buddha Dharma. How much we understand, we apply them. No matter how much you understand, just apply them. We need to practice meditation along with the teachings throughout the day. That's a basic and also a foundation. Always maintain a very relaxed body. And this is a very important and very solid foundation for our practice. When the body is relaxed, mind is usually calm and stable. And try to develop such a habit to be aware of the condition of your body and mind at all time, if you can. Know how your body feels. Well, kind of uncomfortable. Oh, it's kind of a tense, rigid, stiff. Okay. Your mind will not be different from how your body feels. Your body reveals your mental state, your psychological state, your emotional state. It is hard to detect, our mental activities clearly. We often don't know how we live through the days, right? But the body is something obvious, big, concrete, that you can direct your awareness to. Your body, your physical conditions reveal your mental conditions, your psychological conditions, your emotional state. So if your body is not comfortable, relax, make it comfortable. Relaxation is very, very powerful and essentially important, fundamental. Relax the body. So when the body release the tension, when you're relaxing, tension is released from the body. So the stress and tension, anxiety in the mind also get released. What could be better? You do one, you get two, free. So mind, relax. When your mind settles, relax, mind open, mind no longer agitated that much, then you have more room to perceive what's going on there. You will not be in a very agitated state. Always react negatively usually. So always maintain that relaxed body. And then train your mind to cultivate this awareness to know how the body feels, the conditions of body, and work on the body. Start from working on the body, relaxing the body. At the same time, you are calming the mind, settling the mind. And then you have a clear awareness of what's going on and clear perceptions, what's happening there. And this is important, especially when you feel stressful, when you feel agitated, when you become emotional. It may come up quite strong and abruptly, unexpectedly, suddenly. Or if you practice like that regularly, normally, when something stronger, abrupt, suddenly occurred, then you have the ability to redirect the awareness to the body. If you don't practice like that, normally, regularly in your days, when such strong emotions or events occur, you will not be able to redirect your awareness. Your whole body, your whole mind will be stuck in that situation. You can't even move it or redirect it. So practice that regularly. When something happens, you have the ability to redirect your awareness to the body and then relaxing the body. Work on that. And when the body and mind becomes better, smoother, calmer, somehow that things may not be over yet. Somehow you don't feel so strong. Reaction to that, it doesn't seem to affect you so severely. Okay. That's just the immediate effect that you can find. And then in your everyday life, everyday activities, and try to perceive whatever is going on from the perspective of causes and conditions. That's the application of the teachings of Buddha Dharma. Perceive the happenings of this whole thing, changing people interaction from the perspective of causes and conditions. And then you will start seeing all these things are not fixed, are changing all the time. When a new person, new elements come in, things immediately change. Just observe how they change, how they affect each other. That's the working. That's the magic working of causes and conditions. Perceive things like that. And then you start to see somehow, no, oh, that's what they say. Things are not impermanent. Things are impermanent. You get a somehow deeper understanding of that. You start saying, yes, these are illusory. This is just transient. It is not real, not fixed. You start seeing that. And then you start seeing that, not just the face, the superficial. You start seeing that something behind that phenomenon. Where that person come up with this? How this person behave like this? What happened to him? How that person feels? You start seeing something deeper, broader, that you have not seen before. You are seeing more of the nature, the illusory nature of everything, all phenomena. You start getting a little bit closer to the truth, to the reality. This is how we should practice every day. This is how we should practice meditation in our everyday life. There are plenty opportunities for us to practice that. Almost everywhere, almost anytime. If we practice in that way, we're getting closer. We are connected with the nature that every one of us possess. And that is the mind of Bodhi, the awakening mind. This is how we connect with the Bodhi mind that every one of us possess. This is how we approach it. Everyday life is our day of connected with our Bodhi mind, getting closer to our Bodhi mind, even directly experiencing that, knowing what is the Bodhi mind, the mind of awakening. We don't need to wait for, someday it will come. We don't need to anticipate somehow it will just fall on us. We can actually gain a taste of that, experiencing that in our everyday life. Even right here, right now. Okay, I'll end my talk here. Well, I use more time than I should be. There's also something I want to add to the basics of everyday practice, which I think is also very important. The meditation practice is very useful, helpful, especially when things are happening at that moment, when we feel agitated, stressed, and emotional. That's exactly the practice, the method that we can use on that and in that occasion at that moment. But after it's over, it is the time for us to reflect on how did it happen? What has actually happened? And then to think about what could I do in the future so the same thing will not repeat it again. If I say something wrong, if I do something wrong, if I cause harm to others and myself, in a similar situation, I don't want to repeat it again. What could I do and how and when so the same thing will not repeat it again? Yeah, reflect on that. That's your practice of reflections, awareness, review and apply the teaching, the wisdom, to see that. And seeing that, and start, the real change will start. And if you find, oh, this is something I have done wrong, maybe at that time I wasn't aware of, so or I couldn't control my behaviors or my speech, generate a sense of humility, feeling sorry, repentance. I wish I would never do it again. I would try hard not to repeat the same mistake again. And also, be grateful. When we live through the day, at the end of the day, there's a lot of things, a lot of people that we can be grateful to. Having this mind of a gratitude, that help us to really recognize who we are. We not have such big ego, reinforce the self-attachment to really come back, grounded, stand on our feet, who we really are. Okay, I think that's also very, very important too. So these are the practice I try to use and practice in my everyday life. And it is full of fun, also very challenging, but absolutely worthwhile, rewarding, and liberating too. Okay. Hildy, I'm sorry, I have used all the time. What do you want to do now?
You have still time for some questions?
Yes, I do.
So maybe we profit. If somebody has a question, please open your mic and speak.
Or you can raise your hands, physical hands, or the icon symbol hand. Fine. It's all hands.
Thank you for today's talk. Really helpful, because yesterday I chose ignorance. I didn't choose Buddha. So today's like a boom, a very, very good reminder, just come in time. So I just want to make sure I understand everything correctly. So in the future, when I run into a situation, I can feel my emotion come up. First thing I should do is to relax my body and then be aware of my breath. Don't react right away, right? Or I can even walk away from the situation.
Right. If it has come very, very strong, that you have a difficult to redirect your awareness to the body. Mm-hmm. If you cannot do that, it comes out so strong, so overwhelming, completely engulfing you. You probably now want to leave that situation, and do something else, walk around outside the house, whatever. After you cool down, the emotions vanishes, and then when you come when you come back and just review the whole situation, it may not be so devastating or serious anymore. Okay, that's at the very beginning, if it really comes strong. And then as I said, if we can practice regularly in our everyday life, be aware of physical condition, how our body feels, that will build a very, very strong foundation for your practice. You're solid, you're grounded, you're less affected by what's going on. You gain power by relaxing.
Yes. I thought I'd been practicing very well until the situation comes, and then you know that I know. It's just like, oh, I didn't, it's not enough. I have to keep practicing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And come back, direct awareness to the body, and just as, do us what we did at the very beginning, and start from knowing how your body feels. Is not by here, not through brain. Oh, I conceive how my body feels. I imagine how my body feels. But actually, physically, and tactile, through the tactile sensation, the sensation tense. You probably couldn't even feel, your scalp or your anything. You probably could not feel, your eyeballs. It's so firm, so hard. They're completely without any feelings or sensations. And soften that. Oh, the shoulders relax. Shoulders relax. Your body is no longer like a very rigid. Relaxing. When we are relaxing, we're releasing stress, anxiety from the body. Let relaxation do its work. You don't necessarily need to come back to your breath. At that time, your breath probably will be very irregular. If you start work on your breath, then you might have another problems, controlling your breath. I think relaxation is the best.
Okay, thank you so much.
Like giving yourself the best massage at the right time you need it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Fashi. It was a very nice speech. Thank you very much. I have a question. Normally in Zen, like in the West, it's mostly it's either Soto or Rinzai. Not only from the Chan-Bern, just the general, the way Zen is introduced in the West. But when we talk about mindfulness, I think the pioneer in the West about mindfulness is Thich Nhat Hanh, right? As far as we know. And he's a Zen master. But the way he teaches, his teaching is something like Theravada from the Pali. The mindfulness, the way you chew, the way you feel or sense, it's much more related with the Theravada, with a way of teaching. But I don't know how come. Maybe because he's from Vietnam and it's a mixture of Theravada and Mahayana. He infused the mindfulness into Zen. So my question is, can we carry the teachings of Theravada mindfulness into our Zen practice?
Well, actually, all right. Thank you for asking these questions. Perhaps it's because, the time when this mindfulness or Zen practice was introduced or arrived in the Europe, different time. So it may not be who introduced that. This meditation practice exists 2,650 years ago. It's just a matter of fact, Theravada practice or Zen practice or Chan practice or even Tibetan practice, when did that arrive in that place? So people may have this the misconception, this is because this one arrived first, and the second one that arrives must be borrow or learn or adopt from the first one. That is not the case. Okay, that's not not true. As I said, meditation practice is kind of a very, very important practice in Buddhism. You know, morality, meditation practice leading to samadhi, and then the cultivation of wisdom, morality, samadhi, and prajna. The three is like a tripart. You cannot say, oh, I only want meditation, I don't want morality and wisdom. And you don't want to end up with that lady finish the whole pint of ice cream, or that man drinking the bottles of beer. You know, we want our life to be more than that, because there is better things there on the other end of this world, right? So as I said, meditation, if you perceive the meditation as a method, a skill, it's very much the same, no matter it's in Theravada, in Chan, in Zen, or Tibetan. There's a little variation or differences there. So for example, like a breath, the breathing method, you know, somebody, they would teach you, you know, just breathing, abdomen breathing. Sometimes you breathe and you follow your breath, go through the body and come out. You know, some just at the nostril, just be aware of the out breath. And, you know, there's many different ways how to make use of your breath as an object of your practice method. So there are the differences. But, you know, the one very important element of meditation practice is that you know what you are doing. Like eating in Chan school, like us, our traditions. Yes, we can say that's mindful eating. You know how you move your body. When you move your hands, it actually affects your shoulders, and also the sensation of the size of the body. When you sit down, you know the sensation of your whole body. You're aware of, you know, how you fetch the food and put it into your mouth. Even before you had to move, you had the food in your mouth. You're completely aware how this food smell, taste, and the temperature of the food changes in the course when you were chewing it. That's the cultivation of awareness, a clear mind. But we don't stop there. We continue to cultivate that, to generate insight, and finally attain wisdom. This is where it makes a difference there. Okay, and to clarify with you, Thich Han, he's actually in Chan tradition. He's in Chan tradition. In Chinese is Lingji Zhong, or in Japanese, Renzai. He wrote a lot of commentaries and based on the Chinese sutras. The sutras available in Chinese, many of them. The Lotus Sutra, that can be Theravada. Amitabha Sutras, that can be Theravada. The Sutra of Huayan, what do you call? Couldn't remember. There is a various translation from that. And Diamond Sutra, this is all, you know, Chan and all the teachings in Chinese Buddhism, in Chan Buddhism. Okay.
Thank you.
And also he had a commentaries on Lingji Gong'an, the Master Lingji on the critical cases. Let me check. There's one message in the chat room. Oh, thank you very much. And we have someone attend the lecture from Taiwan. So it's like in the middle of the, early morning, 3 o'clock there. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. and wish you well. Have a good sleep, sound sleep. Okay. Any more questions or? Okay. Okay. Jody, I think they probably all have probably no more questions.
I don't see any hands
Yeah.
raised. So I would like to thank you so much. And few of us are looking forward to meet you tomorrow again,
Okay.
the retreat. But thank you for this wonderful talk. Very down to earth, very useful. Thank you a lot.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And I wish you all happy, healthy. Okay.
Thank you. 谢谢老师。
Happily practicing on the path. The path to enlightenment, to become a Buddha.